Okay, so my dad, I think back somewhere in the 60s, maybe 70s, created a comic character, and he made several comic strips with him. And the character is Captain Christian. And he had an organization which was called the Royal Christian Crusaders, which Dad actually later developed into a real life organization. And then the group of people with him, they're like, well, Crusaders, we would rather something else. I guess they changed the Royal Christian Constabulary, which it's really a word from the British. We still use it in the United States. It's just basically police officer. Typically, a constabulary has authority from the king. And Dad, his whole concept was that we are kings and priests through Christ, which he kind of had he liked the whole Blue Bloods thing. But anyway, so I have taken over the organization since Dad died, and I was trying to work with him for years. I have worked with him in the ministry, which is now it's the New Heritage Ministries, RCC Incorporated. It's a nonprofit, and I'm working to rebuild it after Dad died. And one of the outlets of one of the things that we're going to do with this is literature, comics, videos. My brothers have already done some things with Apostolic Productions. Tried to work with them, and it didn't really work out with working with my brothers. So I have already developed something of my own since Dad gave us an interest in comics. I developed a comic character, superhero, Super Zet. So Dad's Captain Christian character and comic strip is copyrighted with the character Captain Christian, Lieutenant Loyal Fellow, and Dr. Discernment. They have a guy he's a little bit like Dr. Zarkov from Flash Gordon, but oh, there he is, yeah, Dr. Zarkov. I'm sorry, Dr. Discernment. Yeah. So they basically fight spiritual enemies. My older brother, I kind of told him my interest in developing this a little bit more, and he did some artwork on some new styles of Captain Christian, and it's kind of cool. The things my brother came up with. It's supposed to be the new updated version, which strangely enough, he looks like us. The artist tends to, look like their art. This is my elder brother's version of Captain Christian. I guess he has a flight pack and some kind of enemy guy. I don't know anything about this guy. Maybe that's supposed to be Beelzebub because he's typically the enemy of Captain Christian. And there's Captain Christian with his shield, the new version that my brothers designed. So I also have created a comic strips that you could, if you want to find these, they're online on Amazon. There's ebooks and comic books you can order. I try to make it really cheap, but the color versions are expensive, so I made it sort of like a coloring book. And the layout that I have is, since he's a German superhero from an American guy, is I have the first page color. Well, this is cheaper, so it's black and white. It's one side English and the other side one side German, other side English. So each page, it's the same page, but one's German, one's English. Typically it's laid out like this one, with the first page, the front page is color, and the back page, well, this one's only color, so this is only in German. But, well, this is a version I did. Usually the front page is color, on the back of it, same page, just black and white with English. So, that's how I laid out the comics. And these characters, copyrighted. Comic books are copyrighted. Here's how it's supposed to be. Color and in German, black and white, and English. Sort of an integration project when I moved to Germany. And there's also characters in here that I designed like years ago, like this guy. When I was like a teenager, I designed him and made my own little story about him. And I've incorporated him into my new comic book. And this is also characters from my... They're like an ancient order of knights who have supernatural power from a substance called the Fire of God, and it gives them supernatural power. And this is technically, that's me when I was a cab driver. These are names of my business names for my taxi. So not only are those copyrighted, those are business names that I used for my business. So I filed to, use that as my business name, and people using that same name have pretty much stolen my intellectual property. But if you don't sue them like within 3 years and they have been using it for 3 years, then they also get to use it, unfortunately. So, but it's fine. I'm more creative. I can come up with more stuff. People want to try to steal my ideas because they're not creative enough. Hopefully they will develop their own ideas at some point. But I used to have a jacket like this with flames on the arm, and it was stolen. I also used to have a mohawk. And this character is supposed to be like my brother. Anyway, so these books are available on Amazon. I mean, it's not super great, but it's a creative project. It's a family project that, if you want to support it, it's going to support my family and our ability to help other people. Because now we're developing a new project with a superhero character to help people. So now, created little characters. Like a friend of mine made this for me. It's awesome. A little crochet needlepoint me. This is just, that is so cool. That dude has got skills. So I've made a few little toys of my superhero character, Super Zet. So this is Super Zet and Captain Christian. And until I make the toys of some of the other characters, I'm just going to substitute other figures. So this is like the one character from the comic book. He's supposed to be, well, he's actually a bounty hunter. So yeah, it's a bounty hunter playing a bounty hunter, whatever. But I'm going to just substitute some of the toys in for the characters from my comics, right? In the story, like using Captain Christian, Super Zet, and his friends. So I'm starting a little YouTube project where we're basically telling this comic stories of the stories that I've written with the toys. And I'm doing this with my son,